But what I'm more curious about is the number of hummingbirds that return, and you probably are too. If you're looking at customer visitation data, you probably want to make sure, how many of our customers are returning, because then you'll know how many of your customers aren't returning. That's generally a key metric for a lot of companies. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have to create a new function. And I wish it wasn't so, but we're trying to do all of this. By the way, this stuff down here, totally don't even need that. We're now totally in this little table here. So let's go in here. And what we need is a function that's going to count each of the tags that show up more than once. So we'll say public function, and we'll call it CountWithDuplicates. All right, and we will say values array. So we're going to pass in our value array, and we are going to count every single one that has a duplicate. Okay, so this gets a little bit kind of like that last one, kind of weird, because if we have a filter return nothing, we have to return 0. So we do go to return 0, and then return 0, and then we will say count with duplicates equals 0. Okay, which means we're going to need another exit function here. Okay, so now the meat of the actual function. So we're going to have an index, an indicator. So DI, that's going to be the value that we're actually counting. That's the number of duplicates. Now we're going to create another variable called unique string, and we're going to do another called duplicate string. And they're just empty. So what we're going to do is we need to loop through for each value in values array. We need to check one thing first. First, we want to say if in string 1, and we're going to say duplicate string, and we're going to search v. Okay, is equals 0. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're going to check if if the tag is in our duplicate string, then that means, unique string. If v is in unique string, we know that the value has already been found. It's not a unique value. Then we can count it as a duplicate. But if we don't see it in the unique string, that means it's the first time or the only time we've come across it. So then we can add it to the unique string. Equals unique string plus v. So we're going to add on that tag, and then we're going to add just a separator. And I just do this so that when debugging, it's a little bit easier, so that we don't, just in case this separator, you know what, let's do a comma. We know we aren't using commas in the tags. Just some way as making individual tags in case two tags merged together creates a tag, right? We want that comma in there to separate. You can choose any separating delimiter you want. But okay, so let's say it is in our unique string, because in string, if it doesn't find the value in that string, it returns 0. But if it does, it gives you the index of wherever that is. Now we don't care about the index, but we do care that it found it. So if we find it, then we want to check if in string. So again, we're going to check starting at the beginning if our duplicate string contains that value. And if it's equal to 0, then we know that it is not. So if the duplicate string contains v, if the duplicate string doesn't contain v, then we know we found it once before, and this is our second time seeing it, which means we haven't counted it. So we can say di equals di plus 1. So now we've added the thing we found to the duplicate string, and now we can say duplicate string equals duplicate string plus v plus comma. So again, if we find it in the unique string and the duplicate string, we've counted it. and we don't want to count it again. So that's how we count our duplicates. And then all we do is we just say count with duplicates equals DI. Let's go ahead and save that. So now what I'm going to do is copy this, paste that, and instead of count values, we are going to get rid of unique, because we don't want, if we pull unique, it's only going to pull each one once. So now with the 162, we're counting the values, but we want to count with duplicates instead. And now we see that 6 out of our 8 hummingbirds showed up more than once. That means 2 of our hummingbirds only came to the feeder one time in that time period. And it looks like, wow, that one Rufus, those 24 visits, that was all one hummingbird, and she was a female. It looks like our unknown hummingbirds, that was all one hummingbird as well. Because it's unknown, we also don't know the species, the sex, we don't know the species. And then for any, we had a total of only 10 hummingbirds, and that checks out 811. And then 8 of our hummingbirds returned. So only 2 of our hummingbirds never came back, and they were both Hannah's hummingbirds, and that was in February of 2018.